Imagine a world where traveling back in time, witnessing pivotal historical events, and even altering the course of history becomes a reality. A world where the boundaries of possibility are stretched and the laws of physics seem to adapt to your desires. This concept has fascinated scientists, writers, and thinkers for centuries, sparking endless debates and creative explorations. Whether you see it as a distant possibility or pure fiction, these 10 mind bending theories about time travel are sure to challenge your perception of reality. Note, many of these theories remain speculative, with the scientific community yet to confirm or debunk them entirely. Number 10, general relativity. Einstein's theory of general relativity stands as a true masterpiece in physics, and it provides the foundation for exploring the possibility of time travel. In essence, Einstein proposed that time and space are interwoven, forming a single continuum known as space-time. You can think of space-time as a vast, elastic fabric, where massive objects like stars and planets create dents or curves. These distortions, which we perceive as gravitational fields, influence how objects move through space-time. So, how does this relate to time travel? According to general relativity, it's theoretically possible to manipulate these gravitational fields to create a shortcut through space-time, effectively bending it to allow travel to the past or future. This concept is akin to creating a wormhole, a tunnel through space-time connecting two distant points. However, before you start dreaming about hopping into a time machine and visiting your favorite era, there are some daunting challenges. The first is technological. We currently lack the tools and knowledge to manipulate space-time on such a grand scale. Equally significant is the sheer amount of energy required to create a stable wormhole. To put it in perspective, even harnessing the combined energy of every nuclear bomb on Earth wouldn't suffice. Despite these barriers, the theoretical framework exists, making the idea of exploring different moments in time a tantalizing possibility. While it remains firmly in the realm of science fiction for now, the prospect continues to inspire curiosity and wonder. Number 9, Novikov self-consistency principle. This is an intriguing concept. It's a theory proposing that time travel might be possible without the risk of creating paradoxes. How does it work? According to this idea, if you were to travel back in time and attempt to change something, the universe would naturally adjust to ensure that your actions didn't disrupt the course of history. Essentially, any actions you take in the past are already part of history, making it impossible to alter anything. The Novikov self-consistency principle can be compared to a game of billiards. If you miss a shot, the balls will continue to move around the table, but will eventually land in their predetermined positions. While the concept may be challenging to grasp, it opens up the possibility of time travel without paradoxes. Although it remains purely theoretical, the Novikov self-consistency principle is undoubtedly a fascinating idea to explore. Number 8, many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This theory is one of the most mind-bending ideas out there. According to the many worlds interpretation, the universe branches into multiple paths every time an event occurs, forming a multiverse of parallel universes. In this multiverse, every possible outcome of every event exists in its own unique branch. So, if you were to travel back in time and change something, you wouldn't be erasing or modifying the past. Instead, you'd be creating an entirely new timeline. Time travel in the many worlds? Interpretation can be compared to exploring a vast forest filled with countless hiking trails, each offering its own unique perspective of the same waterfall. No matter which path you choose, the others remain unaffected. Number 7, closed time-like curves. Imagine you're on a roller coaster, racing through a loop-de-loop. As you twist and turn, it almost feels like you're traveling back in time. That's somewhat similar to what happens in a closed time-like curve. CTCs are like loops within the fabric of space and time, allowing you to travel back to an earlier moment and potentially alter the course of history. It's essentially a cosmic time machine. But how does it work? In CTCs, the usual rules of causality become distorted. This means cause and effect don't necessarily follow the straightforward sequence we're familiar with. One domino doesn't always hit the next in a predictable way. Instead, events can loop back on themselves, forming what's known as a causal loop. Although CTCs remain purely theoretical, some scientists suggest they might exist in specific regions of space and time, such as near black holes. However, whether we'll ever be able to use them to travel back in time and influence history is still an open question. Number 6. The butterfly effect. Imagine time as a river, constantly flowing, with no clear beginning or end. Now picture a butterfly flapping its wings in one corner of the world, creating a ripple that eventually builds into a hurricane on the other side of the globe. This is the butterfly effect, a concept that suggests even the smallest actions can lead to massive, unpredictable consequences. Now, let's apply this idea to time travel. What if we had the ability to control those ripples? What if we could make small waves in the river of time and observe the outcomes? The butterfly effect implies that even the tiniest change in the past could have a significant impact, potentially creating an entirely new timeline. Of course, this remains purely theoretical. No one has discovered how to manipulate time's ripples. Still, the concept raises intriguing questions. For example, what might happen if we traveled back in time and made a more significant alteration, like preventing a major historical event? The real danger lies in the uncertainty of the consequences. Even well-intentioned actions could lead to unforeseen and possibly catastrophic outcomes. Number 5. Grandfather paradox. This theory delves into the intriguing possibility of traveling back in time and altering history, potentially reshaping our present-day reality. A famous example is the grandfather paradox. If you traveled back in time and prevented your grandfather from having children, you wouldn't exist to travel back in time in the first place. This creates a logical inconsistency that challenges the very concept of time travel. One potential resolution to this paradox involves the idea of parallel universes. According to this concept, if you were to travel back in time and harm an ancestor, you wouldn't be affecting your actual grandfather, but a version of him in an alternate reality. This would mean your actions alter a parallel universe without impacting the reality you came from. While the existence of parallel universes remains theoretical and unproven, it offers a fascinating way to explore the mysteries of time travel and its implications for our understanding of the universe. Number 4. Block universe theory. Imagine time as a giant block of ice, a solid structure where you can observe the entire block at once from its beginning to its end, with all its twists and turns clearly visible. Now suppose you wanted to travel through time. According to the block universe theory, you wouldn't actually move through the block like you would through a flowing river. Instead, you would simply exist at a different point within it. This theory suggests that time is not a flowing river, but a frozen one, with all events already set in stone. If you were to travel back in time, you wouldn't alter anything that has already happened. Instead, you'd simply experience those events from a different perspective. It's an elegant way to sidestep paradoxes entirely. Number 3. Time as a fourth dimension. Imagine standing in the middle of a room where you can move forward and backward, left and right, and up and down. Now, what if you could also move forward and backward in time just as easily as you move through space? That's the essence of the theory of time as a fourth dimension. This concept views time as another dimension, akin to the 3 spatial dimensions we're familiar with. Just as an object's position in space is defined by 3 coordinates, its position in time is determined by a 4th coordinate. According to this theory, movement in time could be as straightforward as movement in space. How would time travel work under this idea? If you wanted to visit the age of dinosaurs, you would simply move backward along the time dimension until you reached that era. Curious about the future? You'd move forward along the same dimension. While practical implementation remains a significant challenge, thinking of time as a 4th dimension provides an intriguing framework for understanding time travel and its potential. It's a perspective that makes the concept more accessible and sparks the imagination. Number 2. White hole theory. This theory proposes that time travel might be possible through a hypothetical cosmic phenomenon known as a white hole. While a black hole acts as a cosmic vacuum, pulling in everything around it, including light, a white hole is its theoretical opposite, a cosmic leaf blower, that ejects matter and energy outward. According to this idea, if we could harness the immense energy of a white hole, it might serve as a gateway for time travel. A white hole could function as a portal, allowing someone to enter and emerge at a different point in time or even in an entirely different universe. The concept suggests that white holes might be connected to black holes through a tunnel-like structure called a wormhole. Traveling through such a wormhole could theoretically enable someone to emerge at another location in time or space. While still speculative, this theory sparks curiosity about the potential interplay of these cosmic phenomena and the possibilities of traversing time. Number 1. Tipler cylinder. Imagine a donut-shaped object stretching infinitely and rotating at near-light speed. That's the concept behind the Tipler cylinder. According to this theory, if we could construct such a cylinder and set it spinning at incredibly high speeds, it might warp the fabric of space and time around it. This warping would create a path through time known as a closed time-like curve. A CTC allows for loops in time, enabling a traveler to journey back to a specific point in the past. If someone were to enter the time-warped path created by the Tipler cylinder, they could theoretically travel back in time, visiting any historical moment. However, creating such a structure would require unimaginable precision and energy, making it purely theoretical for now. Still, the concept is an intriguing glimpse into the possibilities of time travel through advanced physics.